Chris Lear, like a jet. We are ready to soar here at Geneva College. Homecoming weekend, Bob Heights, to incredible heights we go. The strength coach, pumping iron. It's nice to have you here. Laurel grad, went to Geneva College. So is it all about repetition? Is it about heavy weights, a little cardiovascular? What's it about?
That's the question that everyone wants answered. And honestly, we try to do a nice mix of everything. We like to get some high reps, some high weight. We make sure we run and stretch. And for us, we put more of an emphasis on mobility and flexibility. But I guess the answer is it's a little bit of everything.
Gino, you've been lifting a long time. Thoughts about this young man helping you out?
Oh, phenomenal fit. He's a biology major.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so he like tells me all these different systems that we're doing, and you know, back in the day, it was just a bench and a couple of plates and a bar, go up to the field house and just lift, right? Now this is like, there's science involved, and he knows the science behind it.
Flexibility is such a key, and I don't even know when stretching became status quo, but probably back in the 70s when people started to jog or run for distance for, pleasure and to stay in cardiovascular shape. But even with lifting, if you're not stretching, you're basically defeating the purpose, right?
Yeah, exactly. And for us, we work a lot of movement systems. So how to get down into a squat without weight before we get down into a squat with weight, and trying to teach our guys how to move their bodies in space before we start loading the weight on them. What we found and what I believe in our philosophy is if we can do that weight, the strength numbers that we're wanting are going to come a lot faster whenever we do that. So we kind of take a slow approach at first, and once we get the technique down, our numbers start to shoot up pretty well.
You may remember a couple of years ago an athlete by the name of Chris Griffin.
Yes.
Played a little football here.
He was here for, yeah.
He was a guy who, very long, lanky in high school in Rochester, and then obviously turned some muscle mass into a professional career, obviously got on the launching pad here. So how can you tell someone that comes here as a freshman, maybe they come as a wide receiver, but they end up as a tight end or a linebacker because of that muscle mass? How do you know exactly how to put that foundation where it needs to be to do it the right way?
Well, our philosophy is we want to get our guys as big and as strong as possible while still being explosive, still being quick, and still being fast. A lot of that muscle mass is pretty much based on genetics. Now, you get a guy who's 6'5", 180 pounds, when he comes in, his bench press is going to be, a lot lighter than a guy who's maybe 5'9", with a little short and stocky. So for us, the term muscle mass, we're looking for guys to build strength. If muscle mass comes with it, then great. We want guys to be explosive. We want guys to be strong. But we have had, our program has been proven. We had a receiver who came in. He was benching, I'd say 125 maybe he started out, and he finished now. He was over 200 pounds for a bench press, over 200 pounds for a clean, and over 350 for a squat. So we look more for the strength and the numbers, and the muscle mass kind of follows suit with that.
Years ago, when I would come here and work out at the Feeney Fieldhouse after I would get done on the local radio station, guys like alum Gary West and others, homecoming weekend, another name from the past, would be in there lifting these huge weights, just free weights, banging them out.
Oh, yeah.
Now that, of course, universal machines, isometrics, all of this other stuff, Pilates is even in the mix. So where are you amongst all of the things that I just mentioned?
We're actually kind of old school. We're barbells and dumbbells, but we do
Speaking
have
of dumbbells, that's why I was here.
Yeah, no, but we do have a new school twist to it. We do take into effect the stretching and the mobility part of it, but we're kind of bare bones here, and I can do more with a barbell and a dumbbell than most can do with 8 or 10 machines.
All right, before you say goodbye and we come back, still going to talk about Geneva College homecoming, Waynesburg this weekend, 3 o'clock. Hope you'll make it a part of your weekend activities. Nothing better than a fall afternoon at Reeve Stadium on the hill here at College Hill in Beaver Falls. We're also going to talk Steelers Jacksonville coming up Sunday at 1 o'clock. The old adage, don't throw a curveball until you're 12 years old, okay? When should you tell your child, male or female, it's okay for them to start lifting weights? In your opinion?
In my opinion, you want to start seeing, and from what I know, and again, I'm still learning just like everyone else is. But in my opinion, once they start hitting puberty, you can start doing a lot of body weight stuff. And even when they're younger, body weight stuff is a great tool to get a younger athlete to learn how to move his body in space. But really, I mean, I know my dad, and I'm the strength and conditioning coach. My dad wouldn't let me touch a weight until I was 15. Wouldn't let me touch a weight. So for me, am I going to do that when I have kids? I don't know, maybe. But the body weight stuff is so crucial because it teaches an athlete how to move their body in space. But I don't know, if I had to put a guess on it, 7th or 8th grade is probably an okay time, as long as the technique is correct. If the technique is incorrect, that's when you start seeing injuries and stuff like that.
Coach, thanks.
Absolutely, thank you.
Listen, homecoming weekend, a couple of personal notes. Terry Francona from New Brighton, who didn't have to do anything. He was just the natural. Absolutely. Tonight, 101 wins later after the regular season. They take on the New York Yankees tonight in the divisional series. So good luck to him at Progressive Field.
Absolutely.
And check it out and root him on to victory. If you want to watch it, it's on FS1. So there you go.
I'll be watching it.
Another thing, Peggy Neely, David Neely, lawyer who ran for judge. This is so strange that you mentioned this. Yesterday I'm listening to a Barry White song, and every time I listen to Barry White, or I've played it on the radio, which I did many years, I think of my typing class at New Brighton High School. I a senior, Peggy a junior. Bringing that record in for what reason I don't know, and playing the 45 over and over and over. And from that day forward, I became a big fan of Barry White. But I always think of Peggy, who enjoyed the song sitting next to me, how lovely and how wonderful in that home that they lived at. Of course, the little ranch home that we all grew up in with the red bricks, okay?
Right.
And Pulaski Township. Well, I found out tonight that their mother passed away. So I just want to take a little time to tell you that nobody will love you like your mom. And I understand how difficult that is. Lost mine in 05. Gino is blessed to still have his mother, and I just know this. Motherly love, there's nothing like it, especially when it comes to their children, and no one could have been more proud of her children than she was of both of you, and it was just nice to be a part of that Neely journey, right?
Absolutely.
All right, amen, folks. God bless to the Neely family, and when we come back, it's all about homecoming weekend here at Reeves Stadium, and a little Steelers football, too. Stick with us. Good night.